They say truth is stranger than fiction with how some things came about in the Old West. One such story is how a horse kicked up a discovery that got this town started. We'll show you where it happened right here on Ghost Towns and More. In the very center of the state of Nevada, along the infamous Loneliest Road in America, is the historic semi-ghost town of Austin. This once busy and remote place had an accidental beginning. William Talcott from Jacobs Spring was searching for lost horses in a nearby canyon when one of them kicked up a quartz rock bearing gold and silver. Intrigued by his finding, he sent the rock to be assayed in Virginia City, where it was found to be rich in silver. As soon as word spread about this find, a flood of silver seekers poured into the area. By the summer of 1863, the new town's population swelled to over 2,000, with thousands of mining claims dotting the hillsides. As many as 10 or more companies were opening each day, and the daily freight and passenger traffic going east and west numbered in the hundreds. By the fall of that year, the population had exploded to over 7,000, and every business imaginable opened up to serve the needs of the people. There were banks, beautifully built churches, schools, homes, newspapers, and stores. During 1864, a friendly wager for the mayoral election was lost by Reuel Colt Gridley, and as part of that bet, he had to carry a 50-pound sack of flour all the way up Main Street, where citizens on the roadsides cheered and heckled him. The sack of flour was auctioned off for charity benefit, then auctioned off several more times, with the proceeds being raised for the U.S. Sanitary Commission, which was the forerunner to the American Red Cross. By the time that sack of flour had been auctioned off in several places across the U.S., it had raised over $275,000. The store which bears Gridley's name still stands today along the upper end of Austin and currently operates as a museum. The boom years for Austin lasted until the late 1880s, when the mines began to play out. Gradually, the population declined as people moved away in favor of other promising finds. Today, Austin has a treasure trove of historical buildings to see, such as a number of beautiful churches and some of the older buildings along Main Street. The cemetery on the west end of town has some of the most artistic monuments and statues that poignantly express emotions of love and loss. Another prominent landmark on the southwest of town on a hill overlooking the valley is the historic Stokes Castle. This three-story tower was built from the wealth of Anson Phelps Stokes, who was a mine developer, railroad magnate, and banker. Stokes had seen a tower in Italy that inspired the design, and he had it built out of local granite stone. It was intended to be a summer home, and the Stokes family occupied it for about a month before leaving to go back east. They returned for a few days in October, then left again, never to return. Today, the castle is preserved by the Austin Historical Society. The mines around Austin produced millions of dollars in silver, and after the heydays, the town gradually became a sleepy outpost town along the remote and solitary Highway 50 that crosses the state. Austin lacks the commercialization that overtakes so many other semi-ghost towns, and is well worth the time to stop along your travels to take the time to see the historical buildings, the museum, get something to eat, and fill your gas tank before venturing on in the remoteness ahead. When you are visiting, and if you are arriving from the east as you approach the town, you will have an impressive overlook point on the road high above town before you descend into the town limits. There is lots to see that you will enjoy when you come to Austin.